We're making one huge Samoa with a singular beer, SAMOA. We're making a big one of those. New to this whole US thing. So the other day when a couple of girls started chasing me down the street begging me to buy cookies, I got a little freaked out, but I did follow them and buy cookies. Girl Scout cookies, you guys. I don't know if these are a worldwide thing, but they're definitely a staple in the US at this time of year. I opted for SAMOAs because they sounded delicious, and they absolutely were. Shortbread, coconut, caramel, chocolate. I'm like, how could they get any better? This is how they could get better. I'm going to show you guys how to make your own SAMOAs at home, but we're not making a bunch of them. We're making one huge Samoa with a singular beer, SAMOA. We're making a big one of those. I'm going to make my giant Samoa in a bundt tin, but if you had one of those giant donut molds, that would work really well too. I've got some plain flour, some butter, a little baking powder, some salt, sugar, caramel chews, these are the soft ones, and we're gonna melt them. Some milk, dark chocolate, and some shredded coconut. First up, you're gonna make a shortbread. So this is a really nice classic shortbread if you don't have a good recipe. I'm gonna take my butter and sugar, pop them into my bowl, and then beat them until they're light and fluffy. Light and fluffy. So when I say creamed, I'm talking like buttercream frosting creamed. It should be light and white and fluffy. So now you want to take your salt and your baking powder and pop them into your flour, like so. And I'll just stir those ones through. Perfect. Into the creamed mixture so your wet and dry go together. And you can just dump the whole lot in. This is going to be really hard on your mixer, so just mix it until your mixer starts to struggle a little bit, and then we'll hand knead the rest. Start on a low speed here, or you'll have a flour explosion. Sounds kind of pretty. A flour explosion. It's not. I'm just going to mix that through a little bit more with my spatula, and then I'm going to turn it out onto the bench and just give it a knead. Don't overwork this, so you just want to bring it together till it's not crumbly, and you should be able to get it into a nice ball. Once it's there, you don't want to over knead it, or else your shortbread's not going to be nice and crumbly. I've used the bundt tin to make so many more things than bunts. Of course, I've made like my surprise inside bundt, but what about the like Halloween piñata? Now we're making a gigantic cookie. Who says bunts are just for Nana's bundt cake? All right, that is how you make the basis for your giant Samoa. That shortbread is going to go off into the oven at 320 or 170 for 20 to 25 minutes. You'll know it's done when it starts to brown around the edges and just lightly browns on top. Let's bake this sucker up. It smells amazing. So you want to let that sit in the pan for like 5 minutes, and then we're going to really gently tip it out onto a wire rack. Like really gently. Shortbread's a little fragile, so I'm just going to support it with my fingers. While this guy's cooling, we're going to toast our coconut. So coconut raw, I mean, it's okay. It's just not very pleasant in baked goods. I'm just going to tip it onto a tray lined with some parchment. I'm just going to spread it out pretty evenly. That's going to go off into a moderate oven for, look, anywhere between like 5 and 8 minutes. Be careful because coconut does toast really quickly. So as soon as you start to smell the delicious smell of toasting coconut, pop it out, give it a really quick kind of a stir around to make sure it's getting browned all over, and then back in for no more than another minute. That's what you should be looking at. Lovely, browned, crunchy, toasted coconut. I think this is the best part of a Samoa. No, and chocolate and caramel is the best part of a Samoa. Even if you don't like coconut, toasted coconut's a whole new thing, you guys. Expands your mind. So for the caramel, you could definitely make your own if you have a great recipe, but we're gonna hack caramel by using caramel chews and a little milk. The milk stops them from hardening up super hard straight after they've been heated. I'm gonna pour the milk over the chews, and they're gonna go off into the microwave just for 30 seconds. Don't be fooled. These melt quickly and they get thermonuclear hot. So be very, very careful whenever you're dealing with super hot melted caramels. Into the microwave they go. Oh my God, you guys. That would make an epic Sunday topping. All right, we need to make the foot of the Samoa. So I'm gonna use just a regular pen. I'm gonna put my shortbread cookie on a piece of parchment. Gently, gently. Then I'm gonna take a regular pencil and I'm just gonna draw around the Samoa. Perfect, remove your cookie. If the cookie should break at any point, you're gonna basically hold it all together with caramel and chocolate anyway, so just proceed with it in 2 halves. Because I don't really want that lead pencil on the bottom of my Samoa, I'm gonna flip it and I can still see my outline through the parchment. We're gonna spoon the chocolate, so I'm kinda gonna like, I guess drizzle it just around that outside ring, and you just wanna spoon it roughly into that template section and just spread it out. Kinda looks like a massive chocolate donut. And then gently pick up your Samoa cookie and place it on top. All right, that one's gonna go off into the freezer just for like 5 minutes, or the fridge. You just wanna let that chocolate set. The chocolate base is set, so now you wanna mix some of your coconut through your caramel. And like I said, you can decide how much or how little you want here, but I wouldn't go too heavy on the coconut in the caramel or you'll have trouble with your caramel sticking to your cookie. So I'm gonna start with like a generous handful. Mix it through. Another generous handful. And a third handful. I wouldn't add any more coconut than that. You can see how it's like starting to clump together. And you kind of want to work quite quickly here because as that caramel starts to set up, it'll be harder to get on top of your giant Samoa. Samoas, we were debating. They're Samoas, but is a single Samoas a Samoa? Or is it just one Samoas? I don't know. So I'm just gonna use my spoons to kind of press the mixture on. It should be quite thick. On some of those sides, you might just need to coax it a little bit just to make sure that it sticks really thoroughly to your shortbread cookie. Just like spread it in, smooth it in. There may be a little leftover caramel for you. I kind of designed it that way. All right. Covered in our caramel, then you want to take the rest of your melted chocolate and we're just going to make our little Samoa stripes. I'm just going to use the spoon and drizzle them on. I'm going to gently shift that onto a wire rack before this chocolate sets so that I don't get any of these like little pools or puddles, and my Samoa is perfectly round. That one's going to go into the fridge to set and then we're going to be done. Now the ultimate. Does it actually taste like the small Samoa? I have to do this, it's my job. Coconutty, crunchy, chocolatey. This is better than the original. The shortbread's amazing, but that caramel is like thick and sticky. I mean, you're probably not just gonna pick it up and eat the whole thing. You might wanna cut it into servings, but it is absolutely delicious. I hope you guys enjoyed today's giant Samoa, or Samoas. I still don't know where I'm going with that. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already for new videos every single week. Make sure you check out my giant size playlist if you want to see a ton of other giant size treats. Have an awesome day, you guys. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna take my Samoa just over here. It'll be back.